Welcome to DorkDuo. We are the Dorks. I am Adam, and this is Steve. And this week, we are talking Batman, Star Wars, and other nerdly news. But first, we have to apologize for being off air for 2 months and not doing the Rogue One review we promised we were going to do. Sorry.
Whoops.
We done goofed and we feel bad, but we're just going to try to get right back into things and not let it slow us down anymore. All
For
of the
what it's
problems.
worth, we
Yeah.
do actually really try to do these.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We actually tried to record this episode already. So, yeah, we're doing our best here, guys. It's not our fault. This is several things happening that's always working against us. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. The point is we are back right now, and we're gonna try to keep staying back for as long as we can. No promises
Try
though.
to keep staying back.
We're
Ooh.
gonna try to not take any more breaks if we can help it. Yeah. Okay. So news. We're just gonna get right into it. Not spend a lot of time on that. So Ben Affleck has officially announced that he will not be directing The Batman. He will, however, still be starring, producing, and writing The Batman. So this is one of these weird situations where the news is can very easily be interpreted as a good thing or very easily be interpreted as a bad thing, and neither side is necessarily wrong. On the one hand, if we were to be negative about this, it could be that he's feeling very unsure of the project and wants to distance himself from, being too responsible for it on the offside chance that it fails. And it could or on the other hand, and this is what he claims, but he could just be spinning this, he claims that he just wants his writing and his performance to be as good as it possibly can be, and directing is just not something that he can do while making his performance as good as he can. He's trying to focus. He's trying to narrow down his wide scope and just do the best job he can possibly do, which I think is a good idea in theory. So, what is your thoughts on this, Steve?
I consider myself in the second camp of people who believe him and would like to believe him anyway, that he's just narrowing his field of view instead of just dropping out so he can avoid the blame if it sucks.
Yeah,
Because
right?
I liked him, what we saw of him, so I'd like to believe this is like, okay, this is the only one that matters anymore.
It
This is the
really is.
last DC movie
Yeah.
that matters. So
Yeah, like everything else, like Wonder Woman, meh. Justice League, eh. But Batman,
just
it's like,
Justice
yes!
League is a whole different Justice League's a whole different thing. I don't have hopes for that one unless Batman's good, and then
Well,
we'll
I mean,
then we'll get excited
it's still
about it.
Ben Affleck, so at least we have that. And I mean,
Right, but
he's
we
presumably
don't
gonna
know
be
that
like
he can
one
do
of
it
the
yet.
main characters. I guess I am cautiously looking forward to the Justice League, and I just really hope that Justice League is decent and not awful. I really don't want another Batman v Superman. I do not want that. I just want an okay movie. Can you give me an okay movie,
Is that
please?
really all we can hope for now? Is an okay movie?
It's not that
Is
it's
it too
that's
late to
all
hope
I'm.
for a good one?
No, I don't think it's all that I'm hoping for, but that's all I'm asking for. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, of course I hope it's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but I don't need it to be that. What I need it to be is I just need it to be okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, yeah.
I'm I'm
It's
I'm,
you
I'm
you've
trying to
been hurt
lower my
so many times.
expectations. We really have been hurt way too many times with this. But to get back to this news, Ben Affleck is leaving as the director. I am in the same camp as you, Steve. I am also feeling pretty positive about this. I'm thinking that this is probably a smart decision on his part, and I'm glad that he's a smart enough guy to say, "Hey, I just don't think I can handle doing all of these responsibilities on this one movie and make it as good as it can be." Like, and I'm impressed that he's smart enough to say that, and I'm feeling like this could still be good, depending on who the new director is going to be.
I was just gonna say this positive news could also be spun in its own negative way, because if the new director, if he steps down as director and we wind up getting a coconut as a director, then we have an issue because now no matter how well it's written or how well he performs, if they put a song and dance number in the middle or something, it's going to be a problem.
Oh God, don't even say that. Oh, Steve, that hurts my everything. Stop. No song and dance in Batman. Never,
I,
ever, ever. Unless it's Batman the Brave and the Bold, and then it's okay. It's
did they
fine,
sing
I
and dance in
guess.
Batman the Brave and the Bold?
Yes, there. Okay, have you ever heard of Music Meister?
No.
Ever? Have you ever? Okay,
No.
he is a like new Batman villain that was invented for Batman the Brave and the Bold that had so the entire episode was in song.
Oh,
That show was always weird. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Don't
okay.
worry about it, Steve. The point is,
I
I
won't,
don't
I
need
guess.
I don't need a live action interpretation of the Music Meister in the first solo Batman movie from Ben Affleck. I don't need that. No, thank you. Get
It's
that
over,
away from
Joker.
me.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Okay. So, anything else you want to say about Ben Affleck, Batman stuff, Justice League?
Please be good.
Please be good. Okay, sounds about right. All right, we're gonna move on to the next
Message to
thing.
Ben.
We're gonna move on to the next thing. Black Lightning, which is a character I had never heard of until this point, has officially gotten a pilot order. Excuse me, a pilot order from CW. This was a pilot, or this was a script that was originally given to Fox, but Fox was like, "Nah, I'm not feeling racist superhero with lightning powers today."
Okay,
So
okay. That deserves some
I'm
clarification. For the
sorry, but I
record,
just think the
it's
name is dumb.
no, no, no,
I
no, no,
think
no,
the
no.
name.
For the record, Black Lightning is not the racist. The name
That's
is the
true.
racist part. Because you made it sound
Yes.
like he's like a Nazi superhero or something.
No, no. That's true.
Yes.
I
For the
didn't say that
uninitiated,
correctly.
Black Lightning is a superhero with lightning powers who is black.
Yes. He's
Hence the
basically
name.
static. He's basically Static Shock, but older and less funny. That's Black Lightning. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I am and if this gets picked up from CW, which it is practically guaranteed to get picked up because CW has a superhero fetish right now, and they're not gonna say no to anything at the moment. But if it gets picked up, then that would mean that it'll be the fifth superhero show that the channel has. Join it will be a part of the CW verse of Supergirl and
I like
Arrow
how
and
we're calling it
Flash.
that now. It's not the Arrowverse or whatever anymore. Which, incidentally, isn't it funny that this whole superhero TV show thing basically started with Arrow, and every new superhero show makes him more and more worthless?
Yeah, I think it's funny to look back on Arrow, because the whole idea of Arrow seems so antiquated at this point. It's like it's an adaptation of the Green Arrow, which isn't really an adaptation of the Green Arrow. It's more of like an adaptation of the Green Arrow that is basically Batman. and,
Yeah, okay.
and it's
I don't know if you remember this really obscure movie or not. It was like a remake of Robin Hood, but like super gritty and angry, and it had like lots of explosions and actions and fight scenes and
oh
whatever in
yeah,
it.
I did
Yeah,
see that.
that
It was
that
awful. I
is
hated
to
it.
That is to Robin Hood as the Green Arrow show is to Green Arrow.
Yeah, it's like this isn't even kind of what it's supposed to be, but it's pretty enjoyable, so I'll allow it anyway. Like that's kind of how it is, kind of. Arrow,
Kind of.
I have such a weird relationship with Arrow. I don't know. I hate it, but I also can't stop watching it. And that's how I feel about most of the CW shows at this point. It's like this
Think of
show
it.
is
All right.
so
How about
stupid.
think of it this way. Arrow is your first CW superhero show girlfriend. She's your
Mm.
practice run, and now that you've gotten all these better things, you kind of wonder why you were ever interested in the first place, but you can't let it go because it always has a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
There you go.
Oh, oh, Arrow.
Isn't it great
Okay,
that I can
but
just make a
we're not
metaphor
even
and
talking.
rationalize your
We're
entire
not even.
existence, Adam?
I know. Yes, Steve. It's great. But we're not even talking about Black Lightning anymore. Black Lightning, Static Shock
Well,
on
what's there to
CW.
what more is there to say? It's a superhero show
I
on
don't know. I guess
CW.
not. It's a superhero show on CW. It's got a black main character who has the lightning powers. Sign me up, I guess.
Exactly.
I'm not against it. It's fine. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll watch it. I know I will. So it's like, all right, let's just do this. All
Honestly, it
right,
kind of just makes me want to watch the Static Shock cartoon again.
which is the best
On
cartoon.
WB that was the bomb, man.
I love Static Shock. Static Shock is like the best cartoon. It's like one of my favorite animated superhero cartoons. I love Static Shock. It's so good. Anyway, we're going to move on to actually kind of sad news. So Peter Capaldi will be leaving Doctor Who after this next season. So his last episode will be next year's Christmas special. And we have no idea who the newbie is going to be yet. No idea. I'm personally hoping that it's either a woman or a not white man, because I'm kind of sick of having skinny, nerdy white men be the Doctor all the time, because I feel like we can branch out a little bit here.
Well, I've got some bad news for you, Adam. It's not going to be either of those things.
Come on, it could be. It could. There's nothing stopping them from doing it.
No, there's nothing stopping those things from happening, just like there's nothing stopping Link from being a woman next time. But that's not going to happen either.
But it's not. That's not going to happen. Whatever. But
I'm sorry to say, Adam, I agree with you. I agree. I'm just saying that it's probably not happening.
I know, you're probably right. But I'm kind of sad to see Peter Capaldi leave, because to me, he's actually one of my favorite Doctors. To me, I think the only Doctor who's better than him is David Tennant,
Purple Man.
because he's a god among men. I have such a love for David Tennant that watching him be Purple Man, watching him be a sadistic rapist, didn't stop me from loving him at all. Like, I would still bear his children. I don't even care. It's fine. Like, it's weird.
I'm sure you'd probably tell yourself it was worth it.
I'm not like homosexual or anything, but I am all about David Tennant. I love David Tennant. Seriously. But that's
well, as long as you qualified it, Adam.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. I like him. I like that he's older. I like that he's a little bit different than the other what, 3, 4, 3. I like that he's different than the other 3 Doctors we've had so far. I mean, I know he's actually the 12th, but I haven't seen the old show. And I also like that he's grumpier than the other ones, and I really hope that grumpiness doesn't go away with the new guy.
He did grow on me, like, way more than I thought he was gonna. I know I have the same reaction every time there's a new Doctor. It's like, okay, well, who's this guy now? Why is they changing my world? I don't like change. But, he grew on me.
No, I agree. I think that his first couple of episodes are really shaky. Really his whole first season was kind of like, what? I don't know how I feel about this. But
because he's so way different than the previous one, whose name I'm totally forgetting now. Matt something.
Matt Smith.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I said in my head, but it sounded wrong. But yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's such a jarring difference between the fez wearing weird guy.
Yeah, definitely.
But he never misses an opportunity to tell you he plays guitar in real life. So.
I know, right? I also really like the guitar. I really think that he came into his own as the character in this past season, and I don't know. I'm sad to see him go, but I'm looking forward to getting one more season with him. Also, do you think it's weird that Doctor Who has this curse with 3 seasons? Matt Smith lasted 3 seasons. David Tennant lasted 3 seasons. Now Peter Capaldi lasted 3 seasons.
Is that did he pick to leave, or did they fire him?
No. He chose to leave because I can't think of his name. Moffat. Stephen Moffat is the showrunner, and he's leaving after this season, and so Capaldi decided that he should go too, just to kind of let the new guy, whose name I can't think of, Chibnall, I think his name is. I can't think of his first name. Something Chibnall.
Has this Moffat guy been doing all the episodes up until now?
Oh God, Moffat took over as soon as Matt Smith came on the scene.
Oh, okay. So it's not like The Simpsons, where they changed people halfway through and people don't consider the second half of The Simpsons canon anymore?
No, no, it's not like that. No, it though a lot of people,
Okay.
including me, don't really like Moffat and don't really like the direction he took the show. Like to me, I think the
Like
best
the glasses, for
episodes.
example.
Yes, like the glasses. That was the worst thing about what's his face. I can't even think about Peter Capaldi's doctor. The stupid sonic glasses. Oh my god, so stupid. I hate. Don't get me started on that. I'm not even. No, I'm not gonna even talk about that. I can't. But
Okay.
Moffat, I've never really liked Moffat as a showrunner. I think that been a few good episodes and a few good moments in his run as the showrunner, but overall, I think that the best like parts of the show was when it was Peter Eccleston or Pete no Dave what the heck is his name Christopher Eccleston and yeah, Russell T Davies. That's the guy who was running the show back when it was David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston, and I thought that he was better personally. I'm getting distracted. Peter Capaldi leaving Doctor Who. I'm gonna miss him. Anything
Bye,
else you
Pete.
want to say about it? Yeah. Bye, Pete. Oh,
I mean, I'm
you left us too
interested to
soon.
know who the next guy is, or girl, or intermediary, but I at the same time I'm not really up to date even on Doctor Who. I think I'm like 2 seasons behind,
Oh, really?
so
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
I haven't seen the most recent episode, the Christmas special. I haven't seen that one, but other than that, I'm up to date. I that's what I'm saying. Where I really liked the past season with Capaldi. Because I really did. Though now that I'm thinking about it, that was the season that introduced the Sonic glasses, and that was stupid. But whatever.
Bittersweet moments.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was stuck
Um.
in the watch and he like punched his way through the diamond wall and then he got into Gallifrey or
Yes.
whatever?
It was so cool. I
I
loved
didn't care
that.
for that whole section.
Actually, I'm pretty. That actually no. That was the last season,
Oh, well,
Steve.
good, then I'm caught up then.
Yeah, you are caught up, except
Whatever.
for the Christmas special. But whatever.
Okay, well, I'm still mad that he actually got back to Gallifrey because he shouldn't have made it back to Gallifrey.
Kinda, yeah.
That's
I
like
didn't like
Samurai
him.
Jack getting to
I,
go home.
I really liked the whole thing where he was trapped in the watch and he had to punch the thing a bunch, but I didn't like the episode after that where he was on Gallifrey.
Yeah, it's like
But the
Samurai Jack going back to the past, or the people
I
getting
haven't
off the
seen.
island and
I
lost.
haven't.
I don't actually know if they do or
I,
not.
I haven't seen Samurai Jack, and I haven't seen like past like the second season of Lost. So
Oh, well, good news. Samurai Jack's coming back to Toonami. So
I heard that.
get
I heard
excited.
that. We are so veering away from anything close to being on topic.
Well, who cares about
Slow
Peter
down.
Capaldi when we can talk about Samurai Jack?
Okay, we're not talking about Samurai Jack, Steve. We're gonna move on. We're moving
Fine.
on to a bit of kind of an older news story, but I want to talk about it anyway. So Star Wars Episode 8 has officially been given the title The Last Jedi.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. And I like it. I like the name. I like how vague it is while at the same time not being too vague. It's not something like when you think about it, like The Force Awakens isn't really that good of a title. It's just kind of like, yep, we're making we're making another one, you know.
Basically.
Like that's basically all you really get from that title. It's just like, yes, there is another one and it's in the future. That's about it. But with this one, it raises a lot of questions. Like it could just be referring to Luke. It could be referring to Luke dying and then Rey being the last Jedi because she was trained by him. It could be referring to the two of them together, theoretically. It could be referring to maybe like Luke trained another person or persons of Jedi. I mean, he was gone for like what, 20 years? Like it could be referring to maybe other
What's the
Jedi
black
that
kid's
are the
name?
last Jedi. Finn?
Yeah, it's Finn. Finn's the next Jedi. We're calling it.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No,
He
no,
used the lightsaber, therefore he is a Jedi.
he is not force sensitive. He is not a Jedi. He cannot be a Jedi.
Well, it's okay because he can just get a mini chlorian transplant and then he can use the Force.
Shut up right now, Steve. Don't even let anyone hear you.
Do you
No,
think
we
that's how it
don't.
works? If Yoda gave a blood transfusion to like some random kid, do you think he would have Force powers?
I don't think it's that simple.
Why not? They're just bacteria.
Okay, if you really want me to go into like deep metaphysical Star Wars lore, which I can do because I've read many, many books and comic books and junk, but it's my personal theory that the Force isn't something that can truly be understood in a scientific concept, and one of the reasons that the Jedi were such a corrupt society during like the prequel era is because they lost the spiritual nature of the Force, and they were looking at everything in a more pragmatic and scientific way of seeing things instead of being more mystical and spiritual. And I think that it's not the Force isn't something that is so simple as being like, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of things in your DNA, just a bunch of like little bacterial creatures that allow you to manipulate the life force of the universe. I don't think it's that simple. It's not wrong. That is technically correct, but it's much more vague and an omnipresent idea than something as simple as that. And I think that the Jedi lost their way when they looked at things in such a narrow and scientific viewpoint.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. God moves in mysterious ways.
That's kind of the idea, yeah.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
guess that's I guess the short version of that is the Force is mysterious and the Force moves in mysterious ways. Fine. You could
I
say
am one with
fine.
the Force, and the Force is with me.
You don't even like that movie.
No, no, I don't. It's repetitive
Or
and
that
stupid.
character. You don't even like that
Oh no, I hate.
character.
He's the worst character. We're really off
You're
topic though.
you're the
So
worst character. Okay.
stipulated. Anyway, Star Wars:
Okay.
The Thing happened.
Star
The
Wars.
Force
The
Awakens
last
or whatever.
Star
The
Wars,
Last
The
Jedi.
Last Jedi. What do you think of the title, Steve?
Um, whatever. Where's the movie? That's
Wow.
my opinion.
Oh, Steve. Never
It's
never
it's
change,
it's a
Steve.
it's it's a Star Wars title, Adam. Who gives a shit what it's called as long as there's a movie?
Well, of course there's going to be a movie, okay? We don't
Well,
have
that's
the
what I'm
movie.
saying though.
If
What
we
does the
had the
title matter?
movie, we would be discussing the movie. We don't have the movie. All we have is the title, so we're going to discuss the title.
Fine, it's a beautiful
Shut
title. I'm so glad it was brought into our story little world.
Actually, I don't think it's the best title. I like it, but I think that it's not like some dramatic, amazing, like, oh my god, this is the best title I could have possibly imagined. It's
No, it's
fine.
committee designed title is what it is.
It does feel a little bit like a committee design title, but it's not bad. It's okay. I like it fine. It does its job, and it's vague enough to let us
To
speculate,
let all the
and
fans
it's
speculate about all the deep meanings that probably aren't actually there.
that's probably true. Actually, I'll admit that.
Because you know when this movie comes out, The Last Jedi is going to refer like specifically to like one guy, like
Probably.
some Goku motherfucker.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably just one person, but it could be more than one person. So I don't know. Do we want to talk about Rogue One or not?
You want to just really quickly?
Yeah, let's just do this really fast. Okay, I'll go first. I liked
Yeah,
Rogue
here's
One.
the mini review for the movie we didn't get to review.
mini review for the movie we didn't get to actually review. I liked Rogue One. I thought that the characterizations were relatively weak, but not awful. I thought there were too many characters. I thought that the Vader scene at the end was easily the best part of the movie and worth the price of admission by itself. Um, Seriously, I'm not overstating that. That's how I feel. I thought that spoilers. I don't
Hardly.
care. We're going to spoil everything. I thought that killing everyone was dramatic, and I thought that, but at the same time, I was kind of like, really, like that's all we're doing with this. Uh, well, it's like,
Oof,
why
been
did you
there.
bother? Why did you bother introduce all of these characters and then just kill all of them off? It just
Yeah,
seemed
I
like
had
a
that
waste.
exact same thought, except I
It
extended
just
it to why did you bother making this movie?
I yeah, kinda. That's what it all boils down to. It was a fine movie, but it was a movie that I absolutely didn't need, and I absolutely would have been fine not having. It did its job, and it was entertaining, but it didn't satisfy in any way, really. The Vader scene satisfied, but that's about it.
That made your
Like it,
lightsaber nice and
like
direct.
and I'm probably sound too negative right now, but I actually really did like the movie, unlike you. I liked the movie. I
Hey
just
now,
thought
who says I didn't like it?
I just know you don't like it. um,
Spoiler alert, Adam. The people didn't hear the last
okay,
episode that we didn't
yeah, I
record. They
guess
don't know
that's
how much
true.
I hate it.
But if I were to give it a rating, I would give it an 8. I thought it was good, not great. It was solid, but it really never proved to me why it needed to be there. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
So now you can go and hate on the movie that I like.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Beautiful.
Make short and sweet. Let's try to keep
Okay,
it moving.
fine. Short, not sweet. Short and bitter.
Yeah,
Um,
short and bitter.
First
Okay,
of all,
fine.
I thought all the characters were unlikable at the very least and horribly unnecessary at the worst. I didn't care for the storyline that they had the Doctor Dude whatever put a weakness in the Death Star. I thought that was kind of super stupid, and it kind of made me feel like the other movie was not as dramatic because he was already predestined to die. I enjoyed the Darth Vader scene at the end. That was pretty sick. I will totally admit that. And I was actually concerned that people were going to actually live in this movie because that would mean that they had to be doing something during the other movies, but case closed because they all die a horrific death at one point or another during the film. So, that's nice at least. I did consider leaving a bunch of times, but I have a personal policy against walking out on movies I paid for. And if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 4. No,
You,
5.
you,
5.
okay,
5.
thank you. Thank you. I was about to say, like, you didn't give it a 4 last time. Come on.
I had Suicide Squad in my brain because I was in my
No,
retroactive
no.
review of Suicide Squad. It was a 4, so this is better than
Yeah,
that.
I don't
Vaguely.
want to talk about. I don't want to talk about
Also,
Suicide Squad.
really, really, really quick, the robot annoyed me. I know he was supposed to be comic relief, but he annoyed me.
Yeah, I fine.
But we're not
I
going to
liked
agree
the
on this movie, so there's no reason to.
I liked the robot, but I can see why I can understand why you would think he was annoying. So fine, I'll accept I'll
Yeah,
accept most of your critiques, and I'll just move on.
yeah,
Okay.
it's faster that way.
Yeah. Okay, so the next bit of news is that the 4 Avatar sequels have not only already been written, which is a crazy thing, but they were all going to be filmed simultaneously in the very near future, like this year. I'm saying, like I think it's like next month or something. They're going to just bring everybody together and just pump out all the movies at once. And this is an interesting way to do it because it allows you, first of all, to save an outrageous amount of money. I mean, it costs a lot of money just to get all of these actors and, build the sets and everything once. But to do it 4 times, it costs a lot more.
Well, I don't
But
even know
to
why they're bothering, because all they have to do is build a perfectly square, green, flat room, and they can make the whole movie that way.
Okay, but like what about people going upstairs and junk? Like there are some things you can't do in a green flat room that you have to build a semblance
Well,
of
you
a
can build
set.
a few green staircases and, green climbable objects or whatever to replicate those flying pterodactyl things if you have to. But, there's no
Yeah,
reason for
no.
set design. Just head down to to Home Depot or whatever and buy yourself 40 cans of green paint and go to town.
And the other thing that this kind of does I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, but it kind of limits the idea of like the movies being canceled because it's like okay, let's say that the next one comes out, everyone hates it. It's like, well,
That would be amazing.
we're still going to release the next 3 because they're already filmed
Yeah, right?
and it
There's
would be
like
a waste of
literally no
our
reason to not release them now.
yeah. So if you're a huge fan of Avatar, you're practically guaranteed 4 more. Like there's no chance in hell any of them are going to get canceled. They're all since they're being filmed all at the same time. It's like, well, we're going to finish this. They're all guaranteed to make a boatload of money. So
I
let's do
mean,
it.
actually, this kind of makes me wonder about continuity. Does that mean they're all sequels of each other? Like, is this third one is a sequel of the second one, and so on? Are they all happening simultaneously, like a
No,
branching thing, or?
I'm pretty sure that it's like it's all sequels. I don't think it's like, some kind of like anthology film kind of a thing.
The many
That
paths of Avatar,
that would be messy
one for
to
each
say
of
the
the four
least.
elements.
No, it's just an Avatar like the Last Airbender. I
Oh,
wish it
not
was, but
yeah, not the good one. Of course, if we
actually,
got 4 more of that movie, that would be a bummer too. So,
yeah, I'm about to say like I wish it was Avatar, and then I'm like, actually, no, I don't, because I don't need any more Avatar movies like the Last Airbender movies. I'm good with what we got, and by good I mean I want to pierce my eyes out and pretend I never saw it.
Wow.
Anyway, to
Yes.
get
Anyway.
back to get back to what we were talking about, uh, I think that this is a bold choice on their part, and it obviously shows that they're very confident in it. But I also think that it's cool uh, to basically guarantee 4 movies. It's
See,
it's interesting. I'm really curious once the movies come out if we can compare them and actually like be able to somehow tell that they were filmed at the same time. Like, since like
well, no one
I
will
would
have
imagine
aged.
yeah, like no one will have aged. I can't imagine there would be continuity errors. Like, like it's like, oh, they forgot about this thing in the sequel because it's like, well, you just filmed it a second ago. You think you wouldn't forget anything. So I don't know. I'm interested in like a almost like a what's the word I'm looking for in a like
Morbid curiosity.
philosophical, yeah, in like a philosophical or just like an intellectual standpoint, if you can tell when watching the movies back to back that it's like, wow, this all seems very well put together and well thought out. I don't know. I'm curious about that, but
See, I'm actually wondering what like the specific reason for doing. I know it's to save money or whatever, but like you're either really confident or really worried about your movies if you feel like you need to make 4 of them like in a row, you know?
yeah,
Because you're
no, I
either
see
like,
that.
I can do no wrong, so let's just get all 4 of these necessary. Like that's not like a Michael Bay attitude, you know? Like I can't do wrong, so let's just make all my movies at once. That's just being efficient. Or it's like, I can only afford to get you guys once, and I need movies, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
fart out 4 movies with the same subject matter, so that I can just release them piecemeal and keep my water running.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing is I don't know either. I don't know which it is, and I'm curious. I'm kind of curious about this. It's an interesting decision, and I'm curious to see where this leads. So, anything else you want to say about it?
I think it'll be amazing if the next 5 movies for on topping the selling charts are all Avatar movies. I know it won't
That would be
happen, but wouldn't
amazing.
that be amazing?
Probably not. That would be amazing. Yeah, that'd be impressive as heck. Um, okay, so we're gonna move on to video game news. We're finally away from movie news. Haha. Um, Square Enix and Marvel have announced this huge major deal to basically make Marvel video games, including the Avengers, because they specifically mentioned the Avengers in this like press release thing, which I thought was cool, and I am all aboard. I'm like, yep, sign me up. I feel like Marvel has been really lacking in the video game department as of late, at least compared to like the Arkham series, which are like some of the best video games ever made, if you ask me. Um,
All right,
or
stipulated.
at the very least in that genre, for certainly.
Right. Well,
Um,
okay. I mean, what exactly would you quantify that genre as?
I mean, I don't know. It's like action adventure,
Action stealth
open,
them up? Like
yeah, open world combat game. I don't know.
they
Single
invented the world's
plus.
most common third-person fighting engine now, though. You know,
That's true.
the tap triangle to counter move. That I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that was
know.
all them.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy how influential the Arkham series is on like video games as a whole. It's
Plus, it
crazy,
kicks
but
ass. So you know,
yeah. Plus, it's awesome and amazing, and it's so much fun to play, and yada yada yada.
not sponsored by
Uh,
Batman.
Marvel, though, to bring this back to Marvel, I love Marvel characters. I love the Marvel movies. I am super 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 pumped to see a Marvel video game, many Marvel video games, and an Avengers game. Yes, 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 yes. And I don't know what what else is there to
You
say.
know what's interesting is I was thinking back as you were speaking there, and I was trying to remember all the Marvel games I've ever played, like not necessarily ones based off of movies or whatever, just in general, and or the ones starring Marvel characters at the very least. And
Mm-hmm.
I can think of quite a few, but I can't think of like any that were amazing in all history. I there was I played Iron Man the movie the game, which was for I got it for my 360, and it looked like it was made on the N64. It was
It
just
was awful.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
There was Spider-Man the movie the game, or Spider-Man
The
2 the movie the
original.
game, which was probably
Okay, I
the
was about
best
to
one.
say. Oh,
There was
absolutely.
the Hulk the movie the game, which was yeah, all right. There was Fantastic Four the movie the game, which was
No.
basically just beat 'em up
Uh,
with
I played
Fantastic
that
Four
one. I
characters.
played that one. Yeah, it was really
Yeah,
bad.
Has been as bad bad times. And then there was all those. I mean, unless you count all the Spider-Man games individually, I mean, there's like a million Spider-Man games.
Yeah, there's 1,000 of them.
He's
But
very marketable.
some of them are very good. Some of them are not
Yeah.
very good.
I mean, I think probably the best-selling Marvel game is probably Marvel vs. Capcom, and that doesn't even really count.
Yeah, and I haven't even played that.
And I haven't either because fighting games are not really my bag, Daddy-O. But,
Me neither. They're
you know.
more you're more into fighting games than I am. I just don't care at all about fighting
Eh,
games.
well, all right, more than you, I'll agree to, but not.
Like, dude, I played Injustice because I got it for free, and then I played through the story one time, and I never played it again.
I played Injustice because I was excited to play as Green Lantern in a fighting game that wasn't DC versus Mortal Kombat because that game sucks.
That game isn't awful. I kind of liked that. I played that one too, actually.
It doesn't matter. Square Enix and Marvel games. I
Yeah.
don't. I'm on the fence about Square Enix because on the one hand, boring ass JRPGs I don't play, but on the other
Yeah.
hand, the Lara Croft and Deus Ex games, which I kind of enjoy. So
I love those games personally.
know.
I think those games are great.
it's kind of a toss up with those guys. They don't make
Uh,
bad things. It's just they don't
Yeah.
make stuff for me, I guess, is what I'm saying.
See, and for me, I love like the Lara Croft and the Deus Ex, and I also love RPGs. So for me, it's like Square Enix is like, man, this is great. like I can't even think of a better developer off the top of my head. Like this sounds awesome. Like I'm really excited about this. I just wish that they could have announced something more substantial than, hey, we're gonna make games.
Like
Like
one
an,
of the
like
thing
a
they were
game,
making.
like a
Yeah.
game, like
Like
an
a
actual
game.
thing. Like
I mean,
a
they
game
could just
that's gonna
reskin
come
any
out.
of the Lara Croft games, and you got a Hawkeye game.
That sounds awesome. Oh my god. But
There you go. Done.
but like I would love it. I
Pay
would
me now.
really love it if like they would announce like, okay, here we go. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy versus Avengers
That's
action
pretty big
adventure,
opening hand there, Adam.
open world. I don't know, man. The point,
Open world
I don't
fighting
know.
strategy game with the stealth elements and card playing minigames.
Perfect. Sign me up.
Ship it.
Take my money. Do it. Anyway, I want to move on because I don't have anything else to say other than sounds good. Wish that they could have announced an actual like game coming out in the near future. Okay.
Not Iron Man the movie, the game.
No, not that. Please no. Or Iron Man 2, the movie, the game, which was even worse than the first one.
I didn't even know there was one.
Oh, it was bad. Oh, don't play that. Don't ever play it. Don't even look at it. But
You
we're
don't
gonna
have to
move
tell
on.
me twice.
We're gonna move on to related news. Square Enix has announced that the Deus Ex franchise is officially on hiatus after the lackluster sales of Mankind Divided, which makes sense when you make a game that has no ending. That it wouldn't
yeah.
sell
When you make a
very
game
well.
that's 5 hours long and chop out the ending block so you can sell a second half of that game, surprisingly, people aren't going to want to play ball.
Yeah, like no one wants to play that, but it sucks though for fans of Deus Ex. Even despite the somewhat disappointingness of Mankind Divided, I still wanted more Deus Ex games, and now I'm not going to get any, or at least not for a while, because they screwed up Mankind Divided and didn't give a freaking ending. It's like, come on, guys. Like you did this to yourself. If you had actually made a good game, this wouldn't have happened. And now the people who are disappointed that they didn't get an ending are even more disappointed because you decided to just say fuck all and not make it another one. Like, screw you.
Fuck you,
Like,
got mine. Well,
like,
also,
this is-
I feel like this is an excellent opportunity to rag on pre-ordering some more. This is also the game where they made that stupid build your own pre-order thing, where if enough people pre-ordered, everybody got the bonuses, and I'm glad that tanked. So,
yeah,
screw you, Deus Ex, for that.
That was dumb. I didn't like that either.
That's
See,
unrelated.
that's
that was a
that's
good
even
opportunity
more.
to.
That's even more bullshit than the regular pre-ordering thing, because it's like, okay, you pre-order, you get like a special skin, and it's like, oh well, I like the skin, I guess I'll pre-order. But now it's like you pre-order and you might get some cool shit, but only if a bunch of other people pre-order too. It
Right.
doesn't guarantee you anything. It's like, wow, so screw you, got mine. As long as we get those pre-orders going, it doesn't matter. Because
Yeah,
we
and
already
I
got
wound
your
up buying
money.
it. If I remember correctly, I wound up buying it pretty close to launch anyway. Because I tend to
Oh
do that
yeah,
if it's something I actually wanted. I wish I
right,
hadn't.
right.
I wish I hadn't done that.
See, I haven't played it yet because I'm poor, and so I was so excited for the Last Guardian to come out, and I still haven't gotten that.
Oh
I
yeah, you
only
were supposed to rub that in my face, Adam. You were
I
supposed to
was
get that day
supposed
one
to.
and tell me
I
how
was
great it was.
going to, but then I was like, oh wait, $60? Crap. Like, I don't have $60. Well, I
Well, it
do,
got
but
a
that
price
needs to.
drop already.
But I have to buy food.
No, you don't.
uh, yeah, I do. But yeah, I know it
Anyway,
got a
well,
price
I can
drop.
save you the effort of playing Mankind Divided if you'd like. I can just tell you what happens.
I'm good.
I
I'll
asked. I
just.
That was a lie. I actually don't remember the story at all. I do remember that there is one boss, only one in the whole game, who feels
Jesus.
like a mini boss.
That's so
Who
stupid.
feels
Oh my
like the
god.
story probably shouldn't have ended with him, but it did end with him.
All right, so we're gonna move on to that's it for our news, but we're gonna move on to humble opinions.
This short episode, damn.
It really well, it's because we already talked about all this stuff, so we're just kind of flying through it. But hey, that's good. We're keeping it short and sweet, so that's fine with me.
You're right.
So we're
You're
gonna move
right.
on to humble opinions. Do you want to go first, or should I go first? I don't care.
Why
So
don't you go first?
I'll go first. Okay. So I recently finished a Star Wars novel called Tarkin. It's about Tarkin.
Oh, you don't say. Is that like how
Yeah.
Black Lightning is a lightning superhero with blackness? Oh my,
Crazy.
with black.
With blackness. Oh my god.
Oof. Over the tongues,
Good
teeth, and the lips.
good
Talking's
job.
hard. Talking's hard.
Good job, Steve. Okay. So Tarkin, the book that is, was pretty good. It's one of these books that it was more of a character study than anything else, obviously about Tarkin, and it really let you into his mindset in that he kind of viewed everything
Teacher, I
as
have a question.
what?
I have a question.
Okay.
Who's Tarkin?
Tarkin. Okay, he's the CGI character in Rogue One. He's
Oh,
the guy.
yes, yes,
He's the
yes,
guy who
yes, yes,
blew
yes.
up Alderaan. He's the guy who you may
Oh,
fire when ready, and then he
yeah.
blew up
I
Alderaan.
I kind of consider Darth Vader having blown up Alderaan. So,
Well, it wasn't Darth Vader. It was Tarkin. But
well, Darth Vader shot first.
no, he didn't. No, Darth Vader doesn't shoot things ever. I don't think. Oh wait, actually, he does shoot things when he's in his spaceship. Like his Tie Fighter.
Aha!
So that's
Point, Steve.
that's not really though, because he doesn't shoot. He's never in his Tie Fighter until after Alderaan is destroyed. So
Yeah, but he was Anakin first, and Anakin shot lasers out of his spaceship during the Clone Wars. Checkmate.
damn it. Okay, this is such a stupid conversation. So
You just say that because
anyway,
you're losing.
this novel. So this novel is a character study about Tarkin, and it really lets you into his mindset, into how he views the world and society. Where he's super obsessed with rules, and he's super obsessed with I'm talking rules in an overarching sense, the rules of society, laws. And in his mind, the only way a law is ever going to be is ever going to be followed is if people are scared of what happens when they're not followed. So for
Fair
him,
enough.
it's not about ruling the galaxy by force, literally by force, just basically locking everyone up, or putting chips in their brains that force them to not misbehave.
Ooh, that would
but
work. That's a good
but
one.
by ruling through fear, where it's we're gonna do something horrendous to anybody who goes against us, and then everyone else will follow suit and not go against us
Like,
because
say, for example, just picking a totally random example, setting your family home on fire and killing your aunt and uncle. For example.
that is an example. Or as another example, blowing up an entire planet because they happen to be harboring fugitives.
Right, yeah, no, yeah, that one.
Another
Just random
another
examples.
theoretical example. But it's an interesting mindset, and it really kind of almost justifies his actions in some ways, where it's you could understand why he views the world this way, and you could understand that technically speaking he's not wrong. It would work. That's how you get the rule of law to work, is make people scared. However, so that part of the novel, the part where it's talking about him and his mindset, is really good. But the actual plot of the novel is pretty weak. Like the whole plot revolves around Darth Vader and, long story short, Darth Vader and Tarkin are forced to team up by
Forced.
the Jesus. They are required to team up by the Emperor to go and retrieve Tarkin's ship, which was stolen. And like Tarkin has like this incredibly expensive, really really awesome ship,
Wait, so Darth
and
Vader and Tarkin are both on this responsibility for getting his spaceship taken?
well, yeah, well,
That,
it's not like it wasn't Tarkin's fault. It
but
was
that seems
okay.
below
They
both
weren't
of their pay grades.
okay. Well, they weren't actually okay. I was trying to simplify, but they were sent to investigate a cache of like illegal HoloNet hacking devices. They were both sent to go and investigate this crap, and then while they were investigating, Tarkin's ship got stolen, and then it was just like, holy crap, go get the ship back, and then the rest of the novel is about them getting the ship back.
Oh, okay. Because the way you described it made it sound like Tarkin and Vader were like beat cops, and they were like,
No, not
looking for
quite.
petty thieves or something.
But it kind of does play out that way in some ways because they're, I mean, these are two really high ranking officials in the Empire, and they're both sent to investigate, you know, a cache of HoloNet hacking devices. Like it kind of
Right.
seems below their pay grade, but the reason is because like those devices could be used for something like really bad. Be it's complicated. I don't really want to get into it, but uh, the devices could be used to do some bad stuff. And so and so the emperor sent two people he knew he could trust,
Ah,
who are both very intelligent and very very competent at their jobs to, figure this out. Technically, yes, it was below their pay grade, but the emperor needed someone he could really rely on for this. And then unfortunately the ship got stolen, and then a bunch of other crap happened. But like the whole plot is just kind of like, oh no, the ship got stolen, we have to go get it back. And then like the rest of the not like the ship gets stolen like maybe halfway through, maybe like a third of the way through, and the entire rest of the novel is about getting it back. Like it just takes forever. It's just like, oh my god. And like, I don't know, as far as like novels go, it's like, okay, I've read much more engaging plots than this before. Like it's just kind of like it, like this, I would never call this novel a must read for any Star Wars fan. It's not like some incredibly amazing, like, high stakes epic adventure. It's a slow paced, like, it takes its time to really just look at this character and look
it
at his
lets you really get a
mindset.
feel for that guy that you didn't know the name of from that one movie when he said his one thing.
Exactly. That's about right. It really lets you like get a really look at the mindset of this one character who was a supporting character in one
Yes.
movie set 40 years ago.
Next week's episode, the home life of the torture bot with the needle used on Princess Leia.
But
Does his wife truly love him? We'll never know.
oh my god. But it's a good novel. It's not great. It's good. Oh, and the other thing that's really cool about this one is that there are a few chapters that are in from Palpatine's perspective, and those are really interesting. It kind of like lets you know about how Palpatine thinks and like how connected he is with the dark side of the Force. Oh, and it also reveals this really interesting thing of there is a ancient Sith shrine deep below the Jedi temple, and that was one of the reasons that that Palpatine wanted the Jedi gone, and so he could get access to this shrine, because he wants to use the shrine with Vader to tap into the deepest, darkest parts of the dark side, so that he can literally manipulate reality itself. Like,
Okay, see, all right. Well, hang on. So, first of all, if nobody knew this shrine was down there, I don't see why he had to take over the council to get down there. He could have just been down there and nobody would have known.
well,
Second of
no,
all, second of
no,
all,
no.
this is the part about the Force that confuses me because this is sounding a lot more like a religion or some sort of magic force, like mana or something. when it was my understanding, the Force was not that.
It is. It is very much a religion. The Force is complicated as an idea. It is very much a religion. It's the Force as an idea is about is the thing that ties life together.
Yes, I know it binds us and penetrates us. I saw the movie too, but
Yeah, okay. Well,
what
what do you want to know?
I don't want to know anything. It just confuses me is all. You can't build. It was my understanding anyway. You couldn't build shrines to it because it was like the glue of the universe. But this makes it sound like a metaphysical sort of thing that can be prayed to.
Well, okay, in this sense, this is not the Force as an entire entity. This is the dark side of the Force. It's about tapping into the deepest, darkest, most. The Force is an emotional thing. Okay, it's people who are Force sensitive control the Force with their emotions. People on the light side of the Force use happy emotions, like literally happiness, but but also peace and tranquility to manipulate the world around them in
Yes,
different
enter
ways.
the iris. I know.
Whereas people on the dark side of the Force use negative emotions like anger, jealousy, hate, yada yada
All
yada.
the good ones to get all the good powers. I know.
To get all of the much more aggressive powers. Yes. But yeah, in the Star Wars universe, it makes perfect sense that there would be a Sith shrine. It's very much well within the realm of Star Wars. It's not something that just came out of left field. Like, what? Shrines? I mean, the Jedi Temple is considered a holy place for the Jedi. Like it's.
I guess. Yeah. Well, that monk guy was stupid, so I don't consider.
You're
any of that
overthinking this.
I know. Just whatever.
I'm trying to get back into what I was talking about.
Okay,
which
talk
is
about your comic
Tarkin,
book.
the novel. Tarkin, the novel. I liked the look at Tarkin as a character. I liked the brief looks at Palpatine and his mindset and his goals. That was really cool. I liked the interactions between Tarkin and Vader. I thought the plot was pretty weak, but it wasn't awful. It was just kind of like not necessary. It wasn't essential Star Wars. It's just kind of like, yep, okay, get the ship back, whatever.
And everything returns to status quo, so nothing has to be missed.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was good. I liked it. I would give this one like a 7.5. I thought about giving it an 8, but I was like, that's just a little too high for me. But 7 I feel is too low. So 7.5. It was good. It's not what I would call an essential Star Wars novel, but if you really like Star Wars and if you really like Tarkin as a character, you'll enjoy
And
it.
who doesn't?
Hey, Tarkin's great. He's
Yeah,
a
man,
fan
remember
favorite.
that classic catchphrase, "You may fire when ready"? Oh, remember when he said his other thing, "Vader, release him"? Oh, goddamn.
You know what? Shut
Prodigy.
up. You can do your humble opinion now. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to discredit your silly Star Wars book.
Just go ahead and do your humble opinion.
We don't gotta be crunchy about it.
Nah.
Alright, whatever. So childish. Anyway.
I am kind of childish, yeah.
So, in my humble opinion, RE7, Resident Evil 7, is good, but it's disappointing. Good but disappointing.
It's good but disappointing.
Yes.
Very, very, what's the word? Brief. I love the brevity of it.
Well,
All right, that's it for this humble opinion, everybody. I'm going to move on to who to win now.
Adam, eat a bucket of dicks. Anyway. Alright, so before I even begin, before all my comments here that I'm going to make, I didn't play this in VR. I know this is like the flagship for VR right now, but I don't got a VR headset, and that shit makes me nauseous.
So bad. I want a VR so bad.
I can't play. I'm not shelling out for one, and that shit makes me nauseous for like 2 minutes. I wouldn't even have made it through the stupid tutorial cutscene if I had it in VR. No, thank you. So if that changes anything, and if VR makes this the world's greatest experience, then I put my hands up because I didn't experience that. I'm sorry. So ignore me then if that applies to you. Anyway, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but because I do actually think people should play this, and I'm recommending it heartily, but I'll still have to try to explain myself. Okay. So our story begins. You are random jackoff Ethan, who is kind of a faceless protagonist, but not always. You don't actually have a whole face. You just see parts of his face sometimes. It's weird. Whatever.
That sounds really odd,
It is
but
really
okay.
odd, but it doesn't.
Is this like a stupid crap? What am I trying to think of? Dishonored situation where it's like you see like your mask briefly once,
Oh
and
no
that's
no no
it.
no! When you play as another other characters, you can see yourself, Ethan, but you don't actually see your whole face. I guess they didn't want to give him an identifiable feature, so they'll find some way to obscure his face when you're not playing as him. It's very bizarre.
Okay.
It's like playing as Gordon Freeman, but cutting off Gordon Freeman's head. Like he has a name and a face, but he doesn't have a face. It's weird. Anyway, so yeah, your random jack off, Ethan. Your wife is missing. But all of a sudden, 3 years later, she sends you a message from Louisiana telling you to come and get her, which is weird because
That's
she was
weird.
supposed to be dead. Which is
Yeah, that's
exactly how
kind of
Silent
weird.
Hill 2 starts, if anybody's keeping score. So anyway, you drive down to Louisiana in your douchebag Camaro or whatever weird car you're driving, and you find a redneck home, which you break into without provocation. Discover her in the basement, locked up there. You free her. She's acting very strange, and you get kidnapped by the local redneckery and have to try to named the Bakers and have to try to escape them while rescuing your woman and finding a reason why everybody's acting so bizarre.
Hmm. Okay.
So there you go.
This sounds interesting so far. I'm not against this.
I
Okay.
mean, it's a cool premise as far as premises go, despite the fact that it's kind of ripped wholesale from a Silent Hill game. But what isn't in this game, I suppose? Ooh, shots fired. Anyway, first of all, important crucial note: this game is not scary, like really at
Really?
all.
I see. You said that before, but I'm still blown away by that because like every trailer I've seen looks terrifying. So
Okay,
I'm like,
now, all right.
really?
See, all right. This is where like half of my complaints require justification. First of all, if you played the demo, that
No,
sets you up
no.
for a very scary game. And to its credit, the game still has an excellent way of creating atmosphere. It doesn't fail at that. It still does a great job of setting up the horror world that you live in. So that's fine. That all is great. What it
Uh huh.
sucks at is the actual encounters with the scary things, because the first half. Actually, you know what? Retroactively, if VR makes this scary, then I take it back. But I don't know. So if the first thing you're supposed to do in the game is escape from the baker's home to go find your woman again. And to do that, you have to do it condemned style, where they're just wandering around randomly, and each baker gets a different wing of the house that they live in, which is cool because you know what building you're in has which baker. That's kind of what makes it like, ooh, I hope so and so doesn't find me while I'm in here. But that part's spooky. They're actually intimidating,
The
and
Bakers.
yeah, and running
Yeah.
into them is a problem. It's running
Okay.
into the zombies that's not a problem and not scary,
Okay.
which
Understood.
is
Kinda.
aggravating, to say the least. Because this is why it's disappointing. It tricks you because it's got this awesome setup of avoiding the bakers and trying to get around and around the house and get stuff without being caught by them, because they'll mess you up, man. Like you can't kill them. Like you can slow them down with bullets if you're crazy and you actually want to try to fight them, or you can just book it to a safe room, which is the best
Okay.
and most advisable plan.
Can I just really quick ask? I have to ask. Is there an actual reason you can't kill them? I mean, they're just people. Couldn't if you
Au
shoot them
contraire,
repeatedly?
they're actually infected with the gift, quote unquote, which makes them
What?
basically super zombies, so they can't be killed.
Oh.
You actually do fight them.
Oh.
They're actually like the boss fights, but they can't die.
Oh.
Like Jack Baker, the dad, you kill like 5 times. He just doesn't stay dead.
Okay. Then at least okay. So there is a reason. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yes. But usually in the boss fight scenarios, when you fight them, you have some special means of dispatching them that deals with them permanently for that time, instead of just shooting them or whatever. That won't kill
Okay.
them. So anyway, so yes, the reason that it sucks, not well, whatever. The reason that it's disappointing is because it sets you up with this spookiness of having to dodge the bakers, and then they'll mess you up. But the zombies are not scary at all. And I think part of the issue is actually the game format that we're playing in, because in the first Resident Evil, for those of you who've played it and the subsequent sequels to that one, you were in a third-person view with fixed cameras and tank controls, and that limited your visibility and your mobility while fighting things. And, like, it wasn't that the zombies were scary in the sense of, like, they're terrifying to look at or whatever. It was the fact that if you wanted to fight them, you had to stand still and do it, and they could usually, like, worst case scenario, they give you like 3 to deal with. So it's not that like they're overwhelming you with numbers or speed or ability, it's just that they're coming at you and you can't move if you want to deal with it. But in a first person game like we have here, you don't have tank controls, you have perfectly Call of Duty movement style, so you can bob and weave and whatever if you need to.
Okay.
First person allows you way better critical aiming, so you can go. I don't think I ever didn't shoot anything but the head. They give you options, like it's like the zombies in this game kind of function like the Dead Space, the xenomorphs. Like you can shoot off their limbs and stuff to gain advantage. You don't have to do that. If you shoot them in the head, they just die, which is way better. But if they're super zombies or whatever, anyway. But like first person, you're never in a situation where they're like, I mean, even if they are circling up on you, it's not as scary because you don't see it happening to you, and you can dodge and move way easier, and you can aim way easier. So they're not threatening. They're just minor obstacles to be circumvented.
So what you're saying is it's not that the zombies are not scary; it's that they're not threatening, basically.
Right. That's
they
more like what I meant.
They pose no threat to you, so any amount of the scare factor is completely lost.
Yeah. Now now again, going back to that atmosphere thing I was talking about, it does a good job of putting them in scenarios that are scary, but once you come to terms with that scenario, it's not scary anymore. Like the first zombie that you actually run into, was like in a hallway with like dripping black goo everywhere. And you just walking around the hallway, and he just emerges from around a corner, and it's like, oh shit, well now I have to deal with this situation. But immediately after that, it's like, okay, well it's really slow, and its head is ginormous, and I have a bunch of ammo.
Yeah.
No threat here.
Okay.
Additionally, another gameplay feature they added was a block function, where you can, throw your hands in the air like the Thomas Crown Affair, and block almost anything.
That's
like,
dumb.
Almost, you still take damage, but imagine if somebody were to swing a baseball bat at you, that's regular damage. Or if somebody were to blow in your eye, that's block damage.
Okay.
Like, if you're in a boss fight, and this dude's, like, swinging... This actually happens in one of the things that's really annoying, but if he's swinging, like, his double-sided chainsaw bayonets at you, you can block it, and you won't die.
That's dumb. That's really stupid.
So it's another thing. I mean, I almost never used the block because, again, even though I was playing on the hardest difficulty available at the time, which is normal, because you don't unlock hard until you beat it the first time around.
It's kind of dumb, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, I mean, dude, it's fine. No one can say I wasn't doing it the hardest I could. Like, it's not a threat, because if you do decide to block, you're basically, like, just whatever. I basically survived this attack. It's no problem. And healing items seem to fall out of the woods. Like, I mean, just, you can walk down a hallway, and you'd be like, oh, healing item, I'll have that. I wound up having to throw things away because I had so much healing items.
Mm-hmm.
Because this game takes it's sort of a combination of the Resident Evil 5 grid inventory thing and the Resident Evil 4 suitcase inventory. Like, you have a certain number of squares that you can move stuff around and fill it. You basically have like a little screen of inventory, and different size things take up different space. This
is in the original Resident Evil?
No, in the original Resident Evil, you just had 6 squares that fit one of whatever item.
Okay, sorry, I was
in
confused.
This one,
okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so basically you just have this inventory of stuff, and most of my stuff was just ammo and healing items. Because it throws it throws ammo and healing items at you all the time, which is actually hilarious, because if you pre-ordered this game, you got like a handful of healing items, which all the more reason not to pre-order this stupid game, because you didn't need the healing items, but I digress. So you're never really in any kind of danger. Actually, most of my deaths occurred when the game was a bitch and locked me into a sort of like infinite hit down thing, where I'll get knocked down by a guy, and then Ethan has like horrible balance and gets knocked down all the time, and you have to watch him stand his stupid ass up, and you just get knocked right back down again. That happened to me a couple times.
That sounds hilarious, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't even be mad. That just sounds funny.
Well, it's annoying, but whatever. It wasn't that much of a threat, really. So it's not scary from that perspective. Now, the boss fights with the super zombie stuff, those are scary. because you are a huge disadvantage of those. And the Bakers actually have wonderful personalities, and they shout things at you as they're looking for you, which is delightful, and I really appreciate that. They're wonderful villains. I just wish we got more of them. Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the gaps are filled in with zombies, which it should be, because it's a Resident Evil game. But they're not, like, menacing in any kind of way. And I didn't even get the shotgun, which is the
Okay.
ultimate
I
can-do zombie-killing weapon, of course.
I have a brief question, really
Certainly.
quick. Okay, so at the beginning of this game, so your wife disappeared and you had to, and like she was gone for like a year.
3 years.
Whatever, 3 years. Okay. Are zombies just everywhere in this universe?
See,
Like, is this a
that's
zombie apocalypse? Is this a zombie apocalypse scenario? Is this like The Walking Dead
no,
or
no, no, no. Okay.
like
Now,
what?
that's actually the
Well,
kind of thing. Civilization still totally exists. They don't explicitly tell you in the game where this occurs, but I did find some like in-game text logs or whatever that sort of place it, and they mention the events of Raccoon City, which is from the first and second game.
hmm
So this happened. This is a sequel of sorts. It's not like some kind of weird prequel, but it doesn't specifically say where it falls. So people know about zombies. They
people
exist.
so zombies exist in this universe, but they haven't taken over everything, and society still exists.
Yes.
That's really
The
weird to
world's
me, but
largely
okay.
unaffected by their presence.
Okay, all right, I guess. What? But all right.
Well, another important thing to note here is these are not actually like zombies like Walking Dead zombies. These are more zombies in the xenomorph sense.
Oh,
Because they're more like black
okay,
goo monsters, because I don't want to spoil the plot. There's a reason for that, why they're there. But
fine.
yeah. But that's just kind of why it's a bummer. That it's not scary because you're never in any danger. And I think I ran out of ammo one time. I'm not kidding, one time. And then I basically just pocket knifed a guy in the face until I finished it off and went to go get more ammo. Like it's a non-issue entirely.
Okay,
And
okay.
anyway, I'm back to my shotgun thing. I didn't even get the shotgun until halfway through the game. I found it almost immediately. I saw where it was. It's in this little lock puzzle thingy, which is a reference to the first game, which I really appreciated. Not that you need to know the reference to solve the puzzle, but it's just kind of nice that it was there. But I didn't even
hmm
bother to go back and get it because I mean I could have got it almost immediately. Like the puzzle to do it, you can solve basically an hour into the game, but there was just no need. I got through the game mostly without it, and I only went back and got it because I knew there was a boss coming up. And by the end of the game, I had like 78 shotgun shells.
Wow.
Like
Serious?
that was
78?
that was
That's
my beat
insanity.
stick for the rest of the game.
Uh, this game, you're not selling me on this game, Steve. Like at
I'm
all.
I'm sorry. Despite well, I have to pick out the little niggles that I have to complain about things or it's not going to
You
learn.
have to pick out the little major problems with the game. Got it. Of
Okay, fair
course.
enough. Fair enough. Let me be clear. There was never a point when I wasn't having fun. Just want that
Okay.
point that out. I'm just saying that it has some issues that can't be overlooked because nothing is
Okay.
beyond criticism.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, shotgun wins you the game because I was basically just running up, sticking it under everybody's chin and blowing their head off.
All right. That
So,
sounds awesome to
yes.
play at least, even
Yes,
if it's
that's
easy.
that's kind
So
of I don't know if this was intentional or not because it does kind of actually make you feel like a huge badass because there's a cool bit in the middle at the end of the game, and you at the end you basically just you're running to the final boss and you're basically just schooling zombies left and right, which I don't know
that
if they
sounds awesome.
yeah
That sounds
I don't know if they
awesome.
wanted you to feel like a badass, but it worked. Anywho,
See, I don't know. I don't necessarily hate a game that's easy. A game doesn't have to be hard to be good, in my mind.
I think it has balance issues, but it's not easy. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Sort of.
Like
Yeah, I
it's not
guess.
like it's not like Dead Rising where you can just run swinging a stick back and forth and killing 30 zombies or whatever. There's still a
hmm
threat if you're not prepared. It's just that you will be fairly easily prepared. Does that make sense?
I yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Sure.
So
All right.
anywho,
Continue. Go
sorry.
ahead.
So yeah, that's game function. If you are a fan of the puzzles from the first game, from the first couple games, I mean, the finding the weird shaped key to fit in the weird shaped hole to progress. Good news, those make a comeback because they were kind of missing from most of our previous Dead Rising or Dead Rising Resident
Dead
Evil
Rising.
games. So I actually really enjoy that aspect of the game because it adds more tension to wandering around the homes with the bakers walking about because you have to get to specific rooms to find specific keys or find specific things to put those keys in, and they might be standing in front of that door. So you have to, usually do what I do and walk up behind them, poke them in the back of the shin with a knife, and then run the other direction because it's easier than waiting for them to walk away. But they will catch you if you do that, so be warned. But so that's cool. That's another reason why it's disappointing, though, is because those kind of go out the window at the midpoint, and they show up less and less, or they become really easy puzzles in favor of, like, more zombie killing action scenes. Not as bad as, like, 5 and 6, but more so than puzzles. So if you like the puzzles, they're there, certainly. Good news, but they don't stick around the whole game. Just heads up. Another problem. Actually, no, not a problem. Not a problem. Good thing. Good thing. This has what I think is one of the coolest, like, I don't know. I guess I'll call them Scrubs cutaways.
I don't know what that means.
Like
at
the
all.
show Scrubs.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I know what that is. All right,
in the form of VHS tapes. What the VHS tapes do is if you watch, they're not required. Well, most of them aren't required. A couple are for story progression, but if you find a VHS tape, you can watch it at any VCR you find, and it'll turn to a playable section of whoever's in the VHS tape. So you'll be like, it'll be a movie of. If you played the demo is actually one of the VHS tapes. You play that section, and that's what lets you progress. Is it shows you answers to puzzles in the video because it'll be solved already or whatever, and you can go, oh, that's how I do it in the real world, and then you can do it. You can figure it out usually without the help, but it's still a cool thing to do.
That sounds really cool. I like that as an idea. It reminds me a little bit of the those tiki stones in Until Dawn, but like more fleshed out and like not just like a very brief look at the future, but like a full blown like here, go play through the future and use that to cheat.
It's not even like a lame cutscene. You actually get to do it, which I think is cool because you actually get to play something, but you also learn. But it doesn't detract from the story, and sometimes it actually adds to the story because it's actually like behind the scenes of some of the bakers' interactions or something, which is really cool. So I think that's awesome as a gameplay implementation. That's super sweet. It's also got a crafting system if you're into crafting systems, but it's more in line with the original Resident Evil where you take a green herb and you take a red herb and you smash them together and that makes a super herb. But in this game you have something called a combining fluid and any number of random gizmos, and you can only put those things together. So you can combine a green herb with combining fluid, that makes this first aid kit, so maybe you need the health. Or you can combine it with gunpowder to make bullets. I just think that's a really cool, like, survival part of the survival really horror thing,
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
like, if you're really tight in a situation, it's like, oh, I only have 3 bullets left, but I have a bunch of healing items, well, I'll make the bullets then, or whatever. It makes you make decisions that don't ruin the game for you, but lets you kind of, pick your tactic.
It kind of lets you like pick, like you get a bunch of resources, but it lets you pick how you use them, and
right.
It lets you kind of repurpose them to suit your play style. I like that. That's cool.
But it's not some kind of awful thing where like Dead Space or whatever, where it's like or God, the worst, something like Borderlands or not Borderlands, Fallout. Yeah, Fallout, where it's like, find me 6 toasters, 37 screws, a teddy bear, and a baseball, and you can make this. It's just like, here's one item that only combines with stuff and a bunch of other things, and you can just put those together to make something useful.
I don't want to go in too much into this, but I've often found that the best like crafting systems in video games are the simplest. Like I just feel like overcomplication is such a problem. Like especially with Fallout. Fallout is just a fucking nightmare. It's just like I don't even know what this is. Like I don't even know what I'm doing.
I didn't even bother with that shit in Fallout.
Neither did I. I haven't played Fallout in like a year now. I just no thank you.
Yeah. But I actually don't really I don't like crafting systems anymore. I think they're complicated and they've overstayed their welcome. But I like this one because it's not complicated and it lends importance to the junk you pick up. And every time you get one of those combining things, you don't have to worry about, well, should I save this or should I, use it now? Because like it might be part of my level 37 dragon sword later. There's nothing like that. It's just I have this and this. I might as well just use them. That's a good feeling to have. It makes you feel like you're, you know, doing stuff without having to waste resources, and I really appreciate that. So the last thing that I want to talk about that really chives my spuds is this game has a fake moral choice system.
I hate
No,
that.
no, no, no. It's only got one decision, and it doesn't change anything.
Great.
Okay, I don't want to ruin the story, but basically what happens is you have to pick a thing to do between two people.
Okay.
There's one that makes sense, and then there's one that basically you only pick if you've played the game before. I mean,
Ah.
it's not that cut and dry, but that's how I felt about it. So logically, I picked the first one, the one that made sense to do, and then the game progresses, and like another third of the game happens in between, and you actually play as the character you picked for that event
Oh,
for a
okay.
bit. And it's like, okay, this section is interesting and unique and elevates well and is connected to the story and has a satisfying conclusion. Awesome. Can't complain about that. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Then I picked the other character because I actually had a save. Actually, I finished the game because that's not even like that's like the at a third way of the game when you make this
Mhm.
decision. So I played through the rest of the game, through the rest of that story arc,
Mhm.
and then you stop playing as that character and you play as Ethan again. And I was like, okay, and I finished the game. And I had a save right before that decision, so I just went back and loaded that save, and I picked the other person, and it continued, as my choice, and it played out how I
Yeah,
wanted.
you were playing as the other character. Okay.
No,
Right?
because what
What?
happens is it really contrivedly finds a way for you to play as the other character anyway, and the story unfolds the same way.
Wow.
Yeah, the only thing
Wow.
your choice changes is the cutscene at the end. There's
Wow.
two endings in this game, and the only difference is from that one decision you make.
That's really dumb.
Yes, it really is. So, if this matters to you, since the gameplay doesn't change a smidge, I recommend just picking one and then just don't play it again, unless you want to play the game again. But don't go
Right.
back just to
Yeah,
get the
I
other
mean,
ending,
okay.
because
Got it.
the other ending was shit anyway. Because
It
it didn't make
was.
any sense to pick that person, and once you did pick them, you just do the other person's story anyway, which
Mhm.
it just it so awkwardly transitioned to the other person. It made perfect sense for that other person to do this thing, but it just takes a right turn and then makes you do it anyway, and it's bizarre. So don't bother picking again. Don't bother loading. It's
All
fine. Just
right.
play through it once. So the last and I'm sorry, did I say last thing? I meant the second last thing. The last thing I want to talk about is DLC, because the game, after you finish it, promises free campaign DLC coming. Good job. Happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
I like that. Me too. Yeah, that sounds
Problem
good.
is that they also have two paid DLC packages. At time of speaking, one is already out, and I believe the other one's coming out later this week. Both of those DLC packages contain some sort of side event thingy which has to do with story but is not in the continuity of the main story. It's like fleshing out backstory or something, but still playable. Still more to do with the bakers, which are the best part of the game. One other nonsensical mode, and it's just a bunch of shit. But what that means is it's not day one DLC, it's week one DLC. It's not much better, and you got to pay for that one. And I don't.
Great. Oh, what? Hello?
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh,
They already have my money for the game, but I'm not gonna buy the
yeah. No,
DLC.
I, 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 I don't like paid DLC in
Yes,
general, and
I
I
can.
especially don't like paid DLC that's available like within a week of launch. And I
Well,
just
it's extra shitty because it's more of the story stuff, and I would really like to get to know the Bakers more because I think they're
yeah,
wonderful
right.
villains.
It's like essential. Well, maybe not
It's
essential,
not
but
essential. It's
it's
cool.
an additional part of the story. It's not just like oh, here's your horde mode. Oh, it's like oh, here's a challenge map. It's like
Yeah,
oh no, here's another bit of story that you don't get to play unless you pay us money.
yeah.
And here it is a week later.
And
It's
one
just
of them is
stupid.
actually about the Bakers before and during their zombification process,
Mm.
which is what I would really like to have seen. Because the story basically revolves around how they got zombificated. And that bit right there would show you the transition effect, and I think that would be really cool to experience, but I'm not going to get to because I'm not going to pay the money. So, in conclusion, this game is really fun, and I do actually recommend it. It's if you were worried about Resident Evil, you don't have to be, because this game kicks ass. And Resident Evil
Sweet.
8 is going to be awesome.
I hope.
I'm
I
not
do
even worried
hope.
about it. I have faith that they'll do a good job
All right.
because they did a great job on this one.
All right.
I don't recommend getting it at full price unless you're sure you're gonna like it though,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm kind of
Yeah.
disappointed I bought it day one.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you liked the game, but
It
uh,
has undeniable issues.
yeah, it has issues and it's not worth full price in your opinion. So,
Yeah, but
mhm.
that's just my opinion. I'm not gonna tell you how to spend your money. It's still a good game,
Uh, all right.
and that's all.
Anything else to say? Then
Nope.
let's move on to who to win.
All right.
So, I have still not made my chalice of champions, so I'm going to
Because
just
Adam
pick
doesn't care about the show.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to pick characters that we talked about. So I'll pick Batman, or Batflick specifically,
Batflick specifically.
because I like Batflick.
Who doesn't
And we
like
ta-
Batflick? Besides
I
Superman, of course.
well, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, well, isn't that ironic? I got Chris Redfield.
Well, there we go. It's so appropriate since you just spent like 20 minutes talking about freaking Resident Evil.
Yeah, he's from the first game too. Isn't that great?
I know. I know that actually. I don't know why I know that, but I know that.
I don't know why you know that either.
I have the first Resident Evil. I should play it.
You should. It's awesome.
I always don't.
Well, you
So,
should because it's awesome.
okay.
It's my personal mission now to play all the Resident Evils because I've played a bunch of them and I have a bunch of those on back order as humble opinions down the line because we
Sweet.
waited so long to do this and I have quite the list now.
Yeah, right. I bet. Jesus.
All right.
Okay.
So I got most obsessive fans, and that is a hand to me because there's no way Batman doesn't win.
Come on, man. Yeah, like Batman. I mean, shit. Even Batflick. I mean, that he's like universally the only thing that people like about Batman v Superman. Like, no question. Batman
And
wins.
I don't think anybody really, or a very small margin of people, are actually excited about Chris Fuck Boulders Redfield.
Yeah, I feel like if you asked most like okay, if you asked like the average gamer like who is Chris Redfield, I only think like maybe half of them would even be able to tell you.
Well, even among
He's
Resident Evil characters, I don't think he's that great.
yeah, like yeah, Chris Redfield does not have obsessive fans. Batman does.
I mean,
no question. I win.
yeah, that's.
I won, Steve.
I'm not denying that. I'm sitting here in agreement with you.
Okay. Now I'm going to pick Adam Jensen from the Deus Ex franchise.
All right. I got Cyborg. That's weird.
That's great, actually. Two cyborgs going up against each other. One with the gravelly voice, the other who screams "booyah" a lot. It's perfect. Everything's.
All right. More active sex life. This is not
Uh,
fair because Adam Jensen still has a penis.
yes, and also Adam Jensen has a girlfriend, and I don't know if Cyborg has ever had a girlfriend that I know
Also, Adam Jensen has really cool hair and sunglasses permanently attached to his face.
of.
And a
That's
trench
also
coat.
true. And a trench coat. And Cyborg is just a half of a face. And
Yes. I'm
that's
sure he
about
got
it.
I'm sure he got laid a bunch when he was in football.
That's
But
probably
I
true.
I don't
But
know
he-
that he is
but-
anymore.
But at that point, he was not Cyborg.
That's a
And
great
you
point.
specifically
Well,
got Cyborg.
okay, I guess we didn't specify Victor Stone or Cyborg, but I guess we'll count only after being Cyborg in which case he's gotten 0 because he has
0.
no
So I
reproductive
win
organs.
again, Steve. That's the point here. That's
Yes,
the
yes, you do.
conclusion we have to
Congratulations.
get to.
All right, fine.
Do you want to do another
Let's just
one?
do a third one, just for giggles.
Okay. Crap, I need to pick one. I'm gonna pick... Oh, I got it. Tarkin. I picked Tarkin.
Oh, okay. I got wild, so I'm gonna
Who's that? Wait,
a
who?
wild card. Pick
Oh,
my ever.
okay, got it.
So I'm gonna pick um.
My first thought was Wild Style from the Lego movie, so...
No. All right. Well, keeping with our Resident Evil theme, I'm gonna pick the most popular character, Leon Kennedy.
See, I've never even heard that name before,
That's
so...
he has
okay.
tragically early 2000s haircut, and he's from Resident Evil 4 and
Oh,
some
okay.
other ones, but that's the one that is the most
That matters.
money-making.
Got it.
Yes. All right. And what are they going to be doing?
Who did I pick again? I forgot.
Tarkin.
Oh, Tarkin, of course. Will Huff Tarkin.
That's his name.
That's his name. Oh, yeah. That's another thing about Tarkin. It also told us Palpatine's first name. Do you want to know Palpatine's first name?
Sure.
It's Sheev, like SCHEEV.
Sheev.
Sheev. It's Sheev Palpatine. It's the greatest first name I've ever heard for an ultimate Sith Lord.
I'm glad he went with the Emperor or Palpatine because
Or Palpatine or Darth Sidious.
yeah,
Never
Darth
go by
Sidious
Sheev.
is way better than Sheev.
Okay, sorry. So anyway, Tarkin
Okay.
versus
Leon Kennedy. I got best character design as far as look goes.
Okay, well, Tarkin is basically just an older, skinny man wearing a Nazi uniform. So
Whereas Leon Kennedy wears a sleeveless bulletproof vest and has a flight jacket over his bulletproof vest and has a tragically early 2000s haircut.
I think you win.
And
this
he
one.
makes snappy one-liners that are not that
all right.
snappy.
I will grant you this one. You have a better visual design. So, all
Okay,
right.
I still lost this round, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you still lost this whole round. So, all right. So that will be it for this episode. May your princess always be in the right castle. May the force be with you. See you, Space Cowboys.